What if you could totally overhaul your finances in just 6 weeks? And I'm not talking about clipping coupons or giving up lattes. I mean, what if you could build an actual system, a machine that makes your money work for you, completely on autopilot? Today, we're diving into that exact blueprint. We're going to break down step by step how to build what the author calls a rich life. And trust me, it's probably not what you think.
Just imagine that for a second. What would it feel like to just stop worrying about money? Not because you hit the jackpot, but because you've built this elegant, automated system that does all the heavy lifting in the background. A system that frees you up to spend, and I mean really spend, on the things you absolutely love while your savings and investments are just growing day in and day out. That's the whole idea we're exploring today, turning money from this source of constant stress into a tool for genuine freedom.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this 6-week blueprint together. First up, we'll get our foundation right with the best financial tools. Then, we'll build the investment engine. After that, it's all about creating a spending plan you'll actually enjoy. Then comes the magic part, putting the whole thing on autopilot. We'll do a quick tune-up, and finally, we'll get to the best part, using this whole system to live your rich life. Let's get into it.
All right, week 1, it's all about the foundation. You can't build a strong house on shaky ground, right? Well, same thing with your finances. Before we do anything else, we have to optimize the basic tools of the trade, your bank accounts and your credit cards. These are the nuts and bolts that everything else gets built on.
No, seriously, think about this. Is it possible your bank is actually working against you? So many of us just stick with the same big bank our parents used, and we don't realize that a lot of these places make a killing off of fees. The worst of the worst? Overdraft fees. The author points out that a single $35 overdraft fee can literally wipe out years of any interest you might have earned. It's crazy.
So what's the first huge, easy win you can get right now? It's switching to a high-yield savings account, which you're almost always going to find at an online-only bank. And the difference is just staggering. I mean, think about it. Online banks don't have all those fancy branches and tons of staff to pay for, so they pass those savings on to you with way higher interest rates. We're talking sometimes 10 times higher, and way fewer fees. This one move alone starts putting your money to work for you immediately.
Okay, let's talk credit cards. Used the wrong way, yeah, they're a total nightmare. But if you use them right, they become this incredible tool for building your credit score and earning awesome rewards. The absolute golden rule here is number 3. Set up automatic payments to pay your bill in full every single month. That makes it impossible to be late, and you will never, ever pay a dime in interest. And hey, don't sleep on number 2. If you ever get dinged with a late fee by accident, just call them up and politely ask them to waive it. You would be shocked at how often they say yes just to keep you as a customer.
All right, our foundation is solid. Our accounts are optimized, and they're not bleeding us dry with fees. So now it's time for week 2, building the engine of our wealth machine. See, saving money, that's defense. It's important. It protects you. But investing, that's offense. That's how you really grow your wealth. And the difference it makes over time is just mind-blowing.
Just look at this. This chart shows the almost magical power of compound growth. Let's say you stash away $100 a month. If you just save it, yeah, you'll have a decent little pile of cash. But look at what happens when you invest that same $100. The growth just goes exponential. That massive gap between the two bars, that's your money making babies. And then those babies making babies. This is why it's so critical for regular people to get in the game and use the stock market to build real wealth.
So to get our heads in the right space for this, the author asks this really provocative question. Would you rather be sexy or rich? The sexy way of investing is what you see on TV, trying to find the next hot stock, day trading, trying to time the market perfectly. It's exciting, sure, it gives you something to brag about, but guess what? It almost never works. The rich approach, it's boring. It is simple, it's automated, it's consistent, and it is way, way more effective.
So how do we actually do the rich approach? Well, the system recommends 2 super simple paths. First, for anyone who wants to be totally hands-off, you've got lifestyle funds, sometimes called target date funds. Just think of it like a fund in a box. You pick the one that has your retirement year in the name, like, say, 2060, and that's it. It does everything for you, starting out aggressive and getting safer as you get older. The second path is for people who want a little more control, building a simple portfolio with index funds. An index fund is just a really low-cost way to own a tiny piece of the entire market, like the S&P 500. You're not trying to beat the market, you're just owning the market. And this gets to a critical point. Over 90% of your investment returns come from your mix of stocks and bonds, your asset allocation, not from picking some genius individual stock.
Okay, week 3. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts in the entire book, and it's all about spending. I want you to forget everything you think you know about budgeting. Forget about tracking every single penny. The goal here is the total opposite. It's to spend extravagantly on the things you love by being absolutely ruthless about cutting costs on the things you don't.
This difference right here is everything. Being cheap is all about saying no. It's about deprivation, and frankly, it's exhausting. But frugality, that's about saying a huge, enthusiastic yes to the things that matter to you. It's about designing your rich life. Maybe you're a foodie and you love trying fancy restaurants, so you spend big there, but you couldn't care less about driving a new car. Or maybe you love to travel, so you go all out on trips, but you're happy to live in a smaller apartment. It's all about putting your money where your values are.
And this is the tool you use to make it happen. The conscious spending plan. It's not a budget that looks backward at what you spend. It's a forward-looking plan with just 4 simple buckets. You figure out what percentage of your income goes to fixed costs like rent, what goes to investments, and what goes to your savings goals like a house down payment. And the best part? Whatever's left over, that big chunk of guilt-free spending money, that's yours to blow on whatever you want. No questions asked. You can spend it without a shred of guilt because you already know all the important stuff has been taken care of.
Let's make this real. The book tells a story about a woman who absolutely loves designer shoes and spends hundreds of dollars a pair without feeling bad about it. How does she do it? Well, she made a conscious choice. She decided that shoes were her thing, so she cut costs everywhere. She got a cheaper apartment, she didn't eat out much. But here's the key. She was still automatically investing 10% of her income every month. She was spending lavishly on her passion and building wealth at the exact same time. That's the power of conscious spending. So we've got the right tools, we've got the investment engine, and we have a spending plan. Now for week 4. This is the secret sauce that holds it all together. Automation. This is how you make the whole system run itself so you can take willpower and day-to-day decisions completely out of the picture.
Now look, this part does require a little bit of upfront work. Not money, but time. The author calls it the curve of doing more before doing less. You're going to need to set aside one afternoon, maybe a few hours, to get on your computer, link all your accounts, and set up the automatic transfers. But the payoff for that one-time setup is absolutely enormous. Once it's done, your financial system will basically run itself, with maybe an hour of maintenance a month, freeing up all that mental energy for the rest of your life.
So what does this automated system actually look like in action? It's beautiful in its simplicity. Your paycheck hits your checking account. Then a cascade of automatic transfers kicks in. Boom, money goes to your 401k or IRA. Boom, money zips over to your savings accounts. Boom, your bills get paid automatically. And the money that's left in your checking account, that's your guilt-free spending money. You've paid yourself first, for real.
We're moving on to week 5. The system is built, it's automated, it's chugging along nicely. Now we just have to talk about maintenance. And while we're at it, we're going to bust one of the biggest myths in the entire financial world. The idea that you need some expensive expert to manage your money for you.
Take a good look at this number, 75%. Let that sink in for a second. That is the percentage of professional, highly paid, fancy-suited fund managers who fail to beat a simple market index over the long run. Let me say that again. 3 out of 4 of the so-called experts that people pay huge fees to can't even get the same results you could get just by buying a cheap index fund and leaving it alone. The message here is so empowering. You can do this yourself, and you can probably do it better and for way less money.
So what does your maintenance actually look like? Well, it's not checking your stocks every day. It's a simple, calm, annual tune-up. Once a year, you pop the hood. You rebalance your portfolio back to its target. You make sure you're contributing as much as you can to your retirement accounts. You look for ways to shovel any raises you got into the system. And maybe the most important job of all, you actively practice ignoring all the noise from the financial media that's designed to make you panic. That's it. Simple, effective.
And that brings us to the final week, the culmination of everything we've built. The machine is running. It's automated. We know how to take care of it, so now we get to ask the most important question of all. What's it for? The whole point of building this financial machine is to fund a life that you get to define as rich.
You see, a rich life means having the freedom to make these big decisions without all the anxiety. Take this classic dilemma. Should you attack your debt or should you invest? Well, a good system lets you answer that with math instead of just emotion. If your debt has a really high interest rate, paying it off is like getting a guaranteed return on your money. But if the rate is super low, you're probably better off investing for a much higher potential return. There's no single right answer for everyone.
The point is that your system gives you the stability and the clarity to make a powerful choice that's right for you.
Which brings us to this. This is the final and really the most important question of all. Once this financial machine is built and it's running smoothly in the background, you've bought back your time and your mental energy. You can start to think bigger. The system itself isn't the goal, it's just a foundation. So what are you going to build with it? In the end, this whole system we've walked through is about one thing: automating your finances so you can get on with actually living your life. It's about consciously deciding what you value and directing your money there so you can build your own unique version of a rich life. This entire explainer has been based on the principles from the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. If you want to go deeper and build this system for yourself, you can find a link to buy the book right in the description below.